Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Megan and I am very glad that you decided to stop by. What we're going to do is walk around the garden as we do every week. My goal with this channel is to share my garden on a weekly basis, because I know for me, when I first started gardening, those were the videos that I gravitated to the most, because I wanted to hear what they had to say about their own personal experiences in their garden. And I feel like garden tours always gave that to me, which is why I do these tours every single week, because I want to share with you what has worked, what hasn't worked, all the many times that I've tried something and it either worked or it didn't. And so today we're going to walk around and we're going to do some harvesting. So let's get started. And I want to add that it's always fun to walk through the garden with your friends and share your joys as well as your letdowns, because I do have joys and letdowns in my garden and I love to share that with you all. And I also want to take a brief moment to just say thank you. I want to thank you for your comments, because while my hope is to encourage you all on this channel, I want you all to know how much you guys encourage me, and it is so much appreciated, more than you know. All right, friends, I'm actually going to start in my garage because I want to quickly show you some of the things that I harvested from my green stalks. Even though I do a separate video with the green stalks, I still want to show you. Now, I did show this to you before, but I had cut the tops off. What I plan to do with these is pretty much just chop and freeze. I might keep a few for fresh eating, but I'm going to chop and freeze it. Now, I just want to let you know, I measured, these were my largest onions in the green stalk, the largest I've ever grown. You guys, the circumference of one of them was 16 inches. These were insane. I mean, these were just, they're massive. So I just had to show those to you real quick. Before we go outside, I'm going to show you the potatoes that I harvested, but also in the wood beds where I had all the green beans, shallots, and onions. I did want to show you quickly that I did harvest majority of all the shallots. Now, all I plan to do with this, because some of them are actually really small, all I plan to do with this is chop it and freeze them, because I love sauteing shallots. But I did get a pretty good, like some of them turned out really, really good. Some of them are really small. It was my first time ever growing shallots. I think I know what I'm going to be doing next time, but we did get a good amount of them. So we're going to chop and freeze that. So I wanted to show that to you quickly and then show you the massive onions. But what I wanted to show you were these potatoes. You guys, these were from 2 green stalks, which for me is a really big deal, because I have not had the best success with growing a large yield of potatoes in the green stalks, and this was almost 5 gallons of potatoes. Now, these were all store-bought potatoes that I let sit in my like little garden office, which is just a closet under my stairs, for quite a long time, and they all had really big sprouts, so I think that helped. So I plan to do that again, and I'm probably going to do a fall planting. But I wanted to show you the potatoes, the shallots, as well as the onions, because I want to make sure that if I'm showing you my garden, you guys, I'm going to show you the harvest too. I don't want to not show you the harvest, because it's one thing to sit here and show you what I'm growing. It's another thing to show you that I actually produce food. Now, I do want to keep you updated on the apple trees. So far, they're doing good. They don't look like they're dying on me, but I will say it's been kind of hard. Here's the other one. It's been kind of hard because we haven't had a lot of rain. There was like that week I was gone, there was a lot of rain, but I don't know, it's been not enough. So we're having to water a lot, which is not always easy to do because we're busy also. but so far the apple trees are doing good. I cannot wait for them to start producing apples, but I want to make sure that I'm keeping you all updated on these dwarf apple trees. As much as I would love to sit here and go through the green stalks, I do separate GREENSTALK garden tours just because there's just way too much, especially now in the summertime, for me to sit here and go through the green stalks as well as the backyard garden, because you can see it is just, yeah, it's wild back there. I'm happy. But I did want to at least tell you what I did with the bags against the retaining wall. So far everything's really good. Now you could see this looks like they're dying, but it's because they need water. I mean, we just watered this like a day and a half ago and the soil already feels dry. Now granted, it is in a grow bag. These do dry out faster. And then this part of my driveway gets the most sun. So I do understand that these need to be watered more frequently if there is no rain, but it just is what it is. So I still have the leeks and zinnias in these bags. Those are my ginger and turmeric. They're doing fabulous. But here's what I wanted to show you. Now I know I showed a little bit last week of what I planted, but I finally planted the last bag with this trellis with bushing cucumbers. I did the bushing cucumber from Seed Savers, and then I still do have a couple of onions. Now if you remember the tray of onions that I had against my garage, it was like the last little bit of shallots and onions that surprised me and started growing like lush and green like this. I thought they were gonna die on me. I just kind of stuck them in the bags. Now I did plant the onion green stalks that I had harvested because you could see I put all the starts in there. I'm just going to experiment with these this summer and see how it goes, just because the starts were good, they were healthy, and I'm like, well, why not? So they're in there, and then the ones that were left over, I just stuck in the bags with the cucumbers, and we'll just see how they do. So this was the last bag I had to plant. And then I did come over to the other ones, and whatever cucumber, because I think I planted about 7 per bag next to the trellises, or like by each metal bar of the trellis. I just went in there and I put in a seed or two that didn't germinate. Most of them germinated though. And then the leeks, I'm not really in a rush for those. I feel like they're not growing fast enough, but I'm not in a rush for leeks. So that's what I did with these bags. And then these 3 over here, I finally took out the last little bit of snap peas. And so what I did with these is I put green beans against each bamboo stick for them to have support. And then of course I stuck some onion starts in between. So we'll see how these go. But now everything down here is planted except for, I think there's like 1 or 2 green stalks that I am going to replant a few things. But I just wanted to show you that everything down here now is completely planted. Now let's go back there because there's a lot back there. Like I've always said before, I never take the time to show the herbs, which is why I did a separate herb garden tour, just because there's just so much. But I am gonna quickly harvest this oregano before we go back there. Look you guys, I just wanted to show you this borage flower. Isn't that beautiful? These are edible flowers. It's my first time growing them. I have them in the herb bags over here, but isn't that such a beautiful color? I really like these flowers. This is going to be on my must-have for every year. Look how pretty that is. Look at the back of it. Look how pretty the purple is. Real quick, friends, I know I've shared in the past in other videos that I infuse like my mints and make mint water, but I have this outside with a splash of lemon juice. It is, when I tell you, so delicious. It is so delicious. All right, I don't even know where to start, you guys. I'm going to try and not be all over the place, but sometimes it's hard when there's so much. So for me, for the way my brain works, I need to start from one end and work my way down. So we're gonna come over here. I show this quite often. You can see the potatoes are definitely almost ready to harvest. I don't know exactly when I'll harvest this. I'm thinking like another week or 2. I know I probably can harvest it now, but I'm not in a huge rush, and there hasn't been a crazy amount of rain, so I think I'm gonna wait another week or 2. But you guys, this is looking really promising because I looked under some of the straw and there was some potatoes. Look at that. I think I shared this on a previous video, and they look like they're good sizes. Let me see this one. I can never just wait. I always want to see Well, that one broke off. Let me see if there's any potatoes. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm so excited. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so happy. Okay, this broke off. So you gotta go, dude. All right, out of here. Okay. Anyways, that's gonna be exciting. I cannot wait to harvest that with you guys. So potatoes are doing good. And then let's go over here to this because this is brand new. These are the grapevines. These are 2 different varieties of grapes, and you guys, they're doing really good. They're climbing, they're growing. Now, I am a little upset because of that guy. And what are you doing there, bud? I don't think so. All right, I'm gonna knock him off and then step on him. So I've had some Japanese beetle issues with my grapevines, which really stinks, but I will say that I have noticed a decline in the Japanese beetles between my Kentucky Wonders and some of my other things that I've been seeing. Now they've been on my strawberries a lot. So I am happy to see that there's a decline. But honestly, the best thing for me is I just keep coming out here on a daily basis and checking all the problem areas and just checking stuff and swatting them off. And then I don't really mention too much about my flower pots. I have like little flower pots kind of on the edges or like the end of my garden, and they're all doing really good. A lot like this one and a couple of the other ones over there was a packet called Save the Bee, so there's just like a mix of flowers. But these are all sunflowers and I cannot wait for those to bloom. I think these are peonies because I planted them there last year. They didn't do anything and now it looks like they're growing, so we'll see what happens with that. And then these 2 are all growing. Now I did want to show you these dahlias because they're so beautiful. My poor white ones on the other end was getting eaten by Japanese beetles, but these so far are just, look at how beautiful they are. Very vibrant. Dahlias are one of my favorite flowers. So I'm really happy to see that these are starting to bloom. All right, sorry friends, I had to take a pause there because I had a gnat literally go right into my eyeball, and then I had 2 like fly right by my mouth. So I'm just like, I'm getting attacked by gnats. Anyways, I wanted to show you a lot of the peppers are just, they're growing beautifully. Look at these. So I'm just waiting for some of them to start turning color. I did pick a few last week. So these are the sweet banana peppers. I could probably pick these right now. Let me see. I'm gonna pick this one real quick. So we're gonna take this one and we're gonna take this one. So a lot of these I am waiting for them to turn color. You can see right here, this one's already starting to turn color, so I'm just gonna give it some more time. I just want one good drench of rain. I know that would help so much just because rainwater is the best. So I'm hoping for rain. There's our sunshine. What are they called? Golden sunshine. Now these are new for me. These look really good so far. These are sunshine, like golden sunshine bell peppers. And I'm looking forward to these growing. So those look really good. We've got some peppers right over there. So there's actually a lot of peppers growing. Let me show you the other bed too, since we're talking about peppers. We got some bell peppers growing right here. Actually, I think those are poblanos. Yeah, those are poblanos. Sorry, never mind. And then we have, what is this one? There was a lot of new ones I did this year. So this is the Santa Fe Grande. And then we have the Serranos are just, look at how beautiful those are. Those are doing really, really good. And I'm just overall really happy because there's a lot of peppers growing here. That mulatto, if I'm saying that correctly, mulatto isleno, probably saying that wrong. Okay, fly, get away. Sorry guys, sometimes I talk out loud to myself. Anyways, so these peppers are doing really good. I'm noticing how plentiful they are as they're growing on the plants. And I'm really, really happy. I hope these taste good because these are my first time growing these, like I said. And then the Italian peppers. Now this, I'm waiting for this to turn color because they're supposed to be red, but those are doing really good. So we have those over there. Then we have these growing. So, and then for those that may be new to my channel, what these are in front of the peppers are cosmos, and these are just a companion plant. So last year I did basil, and as much as I love basil, I didn't like the basil with the peppers just because it overpowered the peppers, and I feel like the peppers didn't get enough sun. So I'm hoping with the cosmos on the side, and then I did alyssum at the very ends of the pepper beds, I'm hoping that there'll be a good companion plant but not overpower the peppers, so that the peppers get enough sun. So this was the other dahlia, and this was full of Japanese beetles. I whacked them off earlier. So I'm a little sad about that because these were like the more pinky white color, which is one of my favorite, but we do have a lot of buds, so I'm not super concerned. And like I said, the Japanese beetles seem to be kind of petering off. So I'm hoping that they leave soon. Now what I want to do is show you what I did with these two beds, because this actually was like the last little bit that I had to do, and it was kind of a chaotic mess and it was bothering me. So what I did, and I did this last year, I had put bamboo sticks with each green bean. So if you're new, in this bed, I have cucumbers planted on the end with them growing over the trellis. And then the rest of the bed is all green beans. Now you'll see that I did leave some onions in some spots because my hope is to harvest a little bit at a time as long as I can, so I have fresh onions for eating, while the other onions that I harvested from the GREENSTALK, I plan to, like I said, chop and freeze those. But last year I had these bamboo sticks, but they were taller. I wasn't crazy about how they were in there, and I felt like a little difficult to like maneuver through. So this time I did like a shorter bamboo stick, and all I did was I planted 4 per square, 4 green beans per square, and then I either just wrapped it or kind of tied it so that it would climb up, so it'd be easier to harvest the green beans. And a lot of these are different varieties, some that are new I've never tried before, and then some that are some tried and true ones that I absolutely love. And so far I'm really glad that I did this because it just looks a lot cleaner and it's a lot more organized. And then we do have some dill that's growing in there too, so I'm happy to see that. And the whole sunflower idea against this post, I've just been taking some jute twine and tying it around to give it support so it doesn't fall over. And my hope is to, if you hear me go throughout the video, it's because these gnats just keep trying to fly in my face. They must love my face or something. Anyways, my goal is for this to be the support for that sunflower, and so far it's doing really good. So this one's growing good, this one's growing good, and then the others two are growing a little bit slower because I had to reseed those because of the bugs, but so far so good. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. And then let me show you this side before we harvest that beautiful cucumber right there. I also did the same over here. You can see it is so much cleaner. A lot of this had the shallots in here. I did leave a few on the edges just to kind of give it a little bit more time. You can see this one's still kind of standing up, so it probably could use a little bit more time. And yeah, so that's what I did. And the cucumber vines are doing really good. I'm trying to train them to at least kind of stay in their lane from where they're growing. Now, what I did do over here is I made sure that I pruned along the edges of the bottom just so that there's enough airflow. Because we live in a very humid climate, I wanted to make sure that there was no chance for any disease. So let's go ahead, let's harvest. So this one is, I want to say it is the Poniente or the Piccolini F1. When I tell you these are my favorite cucumbers, these are by far my favorite. You know what, let me see. I know what these are. These gotta be that Poniente. Yep, those are the Poniente. And you can see there's already another one growing right here. And then these I think are the Katrinas. Now I'm actually very impressed with Katrina. They seem to be producing a lot right off the bat, and I'm very happy to see that. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these. Okay, this one looks a little funny. So it just, sometimes it happens. They're still edible. You guys, I think the Katrinas, I can see why Jill from Whispering Willow Farms loves these, because these seem prolific. Because look at that, that one's already growing. There's another one growing, and I've harvested the most from this, even over the Poniente and Piccolini F1s. So this one might be my new favorite, you guys. Thank you, Jill. I very much appreciate it. I will leave a link to her channel down below because she is such a doll and I've really appreciated her content. I also want to share with you, this summer is the most volunteers I have seen around my garden than ever before. I have a lot of Tulsi Holy Basil, like right here, There's actually some over there by the grapes. There's a lot of lemon balm on the ground over there. There's more Tulsi Holy Basil here. There's a tomato plant growing here. You can see this tomato plant that's growing out of the ground. And then I will show you that one tomato plant back, all the way back there. It's doing so good, you guys. And I'm just really impressed with everything that's been growing out of the ground. And this cucumber plant, now I don't expect a whole lot just because it is growing on the ground. It's going to have some, obviously insects get to it. But this is really a great way for me to learn because I want to observe this and see how it does on the ground, in the ground, because this is the natural way that they grow. And I mean, they're not used to growing up trellises like this. But I want to see how this does. I mean, I hope I get some food from it. There's a cucumber that is already growing. And then you can see there's a Tulsi Holy Basil right in the middle. This Tulsi Holy Basil is everywhere around my garden. But I just wanted to give you, or I wanted to show you, and I'm going to try to remember to keep you guys updated on how these plants are doing growing in the ground. Now what I want to do is just briefly show you the tomatoes because there's nothing to harvest, but there's a lot of fruit and a lot of flowers. So now this bed and this bed were my last two beds that I planted. So they're going to be much smaller than, let's say, like these beds that look wild and they've been growing. But so far everything's looking really good. I am coming out here on a daily basis checking for hornworms. So the way I like to check is I will check down here to see if there's any grenade poops, and I will check to see if there's any leaves that are bitten or missing, and then that's how I know that there's a hornworm. Now a lot of times it's hard to find them if they're super small. A lot of times I'm finding them when they're already fat and big and they've already eaten a leaf or two or maybe a tomato. But so far since I came back from my trip, I haven't had any hornworms, thank goodness. But a lot of wonderful growth. You can see the tomatoes over here. I'm just waiting for them to turn red. They're just growing everywhere. You can see all the flowers. There's just little clusters. These are the Martina Romas, some of my favorite plum tomatoes. And they're doing really well. I'm very, very pleased. I'm just waiting for them to turn red. So far very good. And then the Kentucky Wonders, you guys back here. You know, here's the deal. And hopefully you can see them. There's some lacing, there's some stuff that looks like it's dead. Let me come around here. I gotta double check and make sure there's no snakes on the ground because I've noticed I've caught 2 snakes along the edges of the beds. They like the edges of the bed. So I always have to be really careful, which is why I'm always wearing my boots, especially during filming. So maybe you can see it's very lacy, but it is promising, and maybe you can't see it and maybe the camera's not conveying it, but there are some new leaves growing and some new vines that the Japanese beetles aren't touching, and I am seeing a decline. So I'm really hoping that it will be the end of them soon. Here's the other sunflower, by the way. And I'm hoping that they'll be gone for good because, gosh, you guys, they're just such a pain in the butt. Oh, here's some more tomatoes, guys. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I love when they grow in clusters like this. That just makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. Look at them. Look at the cutie patooties. You guys are so cute. I can't wait to eat you guys and make salsa and spaghetti sauce. So far, so good though, you guys. I'm really happy. And then these over here are the San Marzanos. They're just, yeah. Well, let me go around so you can see some of the fruit because there's just a lot of leaves there. There's a nice little cluster over here. Now, the other thing I do want to mention that I like about this trellis, now I am growing the Kentucky Wonders on here, but what I also like to do is have Some of the tomatoes use this as support as well, and then sometimes the green bean vines will wrap around the tomatoes, and it's just like a nice little perfect match. All right, so here's the other side. You can see it looks really good. We've got some clusters right here, and we got some clusters down here, and they look really healthy. We got some over here too. So these are the San Marzanos, and I'm very happy to see them. And then of course, with these beds, I always have basil. So this is the red Reuben, and the other one is the mammoth basil that we harvested a garden tour or two ago. And so far, I've really enjoyed having them along the edges. I feel like they're a great companion for the tomatoes. So here's the other Tulsi Holy basil growing out of the ground. It's everywhere, you guys, but I love seeing it. I'm not gonna tear it out. I'm just gonna keep it there. And then here's the other tomato plant. So I've been pruning also, just making sure that there's good airflow. I'm just waiting for, you know, the fruit to either grow or turn color. There's a lot of flowers everywhere, especially this one over here. These have gotten super tall, and there are massive clusters of flowers. I cannot wait to harvest those. But let me go on the other side so I can show you this one that's growing in the ground. All right, so look at how well this is doing. So the straw is still there. I put some straw there. But look at the clusters of tomatoes right there and right over there. Look at how beautiful that is. So I pretty much, because there's a bunch of like leader, you know, like large stems, I pretty much just took some extra jute twine to kind of hold it, and I'm using this post for support, and so far it's really good. I love that it's right here by my stairs. I can just come down and grab some tomatoes without having to go all the way out here or all the way over there. I'll show you that in just a minute. It's really nice to have this right here by the stairs, and this thing is really impressing me. I'm actually hoping that this grows here again next year, because I really do like that it's right here. Now, these are all doing good too. So these bags are all the bush plum tomatoes. You can see, look at all the clusters right there. Isn't that pretty? They're everywhere. So I'm just waiting for them to grow a little bit more. I'm telling you, if I can just get one good, like, just gush of rain, that would help so much. So these are all doing really good. And then if you remember these over here, I'd made a video on how to put this trellis and use it in the grow bag. So I'm experimenting with a bunch of pepper plants in these grow bags, as well as the tomato plants, and everything's looking really good. Now, I did add a few green beans right here in the front, just, you know, because I had the space there. But I'm really liking this right here so far. And I'm looking forward to harvesting some tomatoes and hopefully some peppers over there. Now, what I do want to show you is the newer GREENSTALK that I have. So I did go ahead and finish planting the rest of this. So obviously I have like the Tulsi Holy Basil. I did 3 per tier because I had a lot of it. But what I did on, so what I did on the top is I did nasturtiums. This is an Antigua green bean, which you can see it's already germinating. I can hear thunder. So you guys, I don't know, please tell me if I know people watch from all different areas, but we'll get thunder and lightning, but then there's like no rain. It's very strange. And last night we got a little bit of rain, but not nearly enough. So I find it weird. Anyways, and then we did dandelion. So I did kind of a variety. So we had nasturtium, dandelion, green bean, and then I did some lettuces. These are heat tolerant lettuces. So we have Nevada lettuce. We have, that's another green bean. And then we did Encino lettuce. Now I will say one of my viewers mentioned nasturtiums and some lettuces. So I totally took your advice. Thank you so much. And that's what I did here. And then down here, I actually put jicama in one of these as well as the other GREENSTALK over there because I want to see if they do really good in here. And then, let me see, this one is kale. I also did kale too. And then there's a green bean. Look at it's already growing. So I did a good variety in here. I want to see how this works out. I love that, like, it's right here by the stairs, like I've said before. And so we'll just see how it goes. All right, friends, it's already getting a little bit dark out, but it's really hard to film during the day or even early evening because it's so hot. So the evening time is the best time for me, but I want to make sure that I share as much as I can so you can see the progress of everything. So we already got this side, and when it comes to all of my tomato beds, I pretty much either did all plum tomatoes or sandwich tomatoes, and that's what you're seeing. And then some were staggered. So these were planted first, then this one was, then I believe this one was, and then these two were last, which I am glad it worked out that way, just so that I'm not getting hit with harvesting all at one time very quickly. But so far everything's going good. I did want to quickly show you, and hopefully you can see the clusters of flowers up there. Do you see all that? Maybe not, it's blurring out for me now. But there's a lot of, there we go, like right there. There's a bunch of flowers. Very pretty, very exciting, and I can't wait to harvest these. Now I do want to show you that real quick because that is newer for me before we look at the rest of the garden real quick and end the video. So this idea that I had was a trellis of just cherry tomatoes. We did harvest 2 last week. There's not any that are ready yet. You can see some of them are still, they're just still green. So I'm just waiting for them to turn color for me. Those I think are the bumblebees. These are my favorite. I love these. But I did a lot of different varieties on here. And so far I'm really liking the way this is turning out. It's keeping the cherry tomatoes together in one spot. And so far it's not getting too crazy messy, but we'll see how it goes. And then to give you an update on a lot of these bags here on the side, these are my cantaloupe. I haven't seen any cantaloupe fruits, but everything's growing, so I'm hoping something will start to grow on those. And then I did have to reseed some of the green beans. They were eaten by bugs. This one's doing really good. Some of those are doing really good. And I want to say some of these over here are doing really good. I do love growing in grow bags, as you can tell. And everything's growing really good. And so back here are all of the pallets. You can probably hear the thunder in the background. Are all the pallets. These are mostly tomatoes, and you guys, everything's just growing beautifully. You could just see that there's just a lot of green tomatoes, so I'm just waiting for them to turn color. But I want to show you the progress of them. And then all these bags are also tomatoes. And those are tomatoes, and we just have a lot of tomatoes because my goal, as I've shared before, is to make a lot of salsa, hopefully spaghetti sauce and pizza sauce. That's my goal anyways. What I do want to quickly show you is the watermelon. So far this one's looking good. Now I will say the bottom's looking a little, I don't know, that's not looking too hot to me. That's not looking good. But this one's looking really good. So we'll see. I'm hoping to get a watermelon. I've not been super successful with watermelons, which is why I'm doing 5 different varieties this year to see which one does better. And these are varieties I haven't done before, so we'll see what happens with that. And then over here, everything's going really good. I should probably harvest some of that lemon balm because it's taking over the bucket. So this doesn't look like much. This is mostly jicama. If you're new to jicama or you don't know what jicama is, I pretty much call it like a summer root crop. And a lot of times it may look like this, like nothing's going on and there's not much. But by the end of the summer, when I go and harvest, you're gonna see it's just this big, beautiful root vegetable, and they are delicious when you roast them with salt, pepper, and olive oil. And so that's what most of these are. Now I did have to reseed, I think like 2 or 3 of them because they weren't doing very well. But for the most part, they're doing really good. And then all the cucumbers, so this will be my second, I guess like my second batch of cucumbers. I mean, obviously the other ones I will probably reseed if I have to, if any of them go bad. But each one of these are different varieties as well. And then these tomatoes are doing really good. These are all determinate and bush tomatoes. And then all of these right here, these are the loofahs. They're all growing. I don't see any like loofahs growing yet, but I'm sure I need to just give it time. Now the gourd is doing good. I've never grown gourd, but I don't know. That's looking a little yellow to me. I don't know if you can see it, right here. This one's looking yellow, but then this one's looking green. So I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna let it do its thing, keep it watered, and just kind of observe it. That's what I'm going to do, is observe it. The flowers are really pretty though. I don't know if you can see those. That's really pretty. So I feel like when I don't zoom on it, okay, there we go. It's a very pretty flower. So I'm hoping that the gourds do really well, because while I know a gourd is not a squash, I do have a hard time with squashes. And so this was kind of a different way of like growing something. Like I said, I know a gourd is not a squash, but it kind of seemed like something I could maybe try to grow, since squashes don't seem to like me. But we'll see. Now I do have some squashes that I did plant throughout the bags. They're still growing, so far so good. Now you guys, back here, I don't even have time to get into it, but look at all the Swiss chard that grew back. I'm telling you, this right here, back here, makes me happy. I've shared it before, I'm probably repeating myself, but the fact that it gets shade back here and a little bit of sun is why I think everything is still growing. So we might be harvesting some Swiss chard in the weeks to come. And here are some of the dwarf tomatoes that I was telling you about. These are called Tiny Tims, and these did really good in the GREENSTALK. So I figured I'd try them in the buckets this year and see how they do. So they're kind of like lined up in these buckets, and then the bush tomatoes are lined up in the back. And so far they're looking really good. Now this GREENSTALK, I still haven't gotten it stabilized yet. We will. That's why they're not connected, because it's uneven ground here. But I also pretty much did the same thing. It's kale, some, I think, green beans, dandelion, and nasturtiums. And I just kind of did a variety just to kind of experiment and just have, you know, different options to grow in the GREENSTALK. And then this side is doing really well too. So these were the last little bit of peppers that I planted. They kind of seem like they're getting bitten pretty good, but I'm gonna give it some more time. I know bugs have their season and then sometimes they're gone, so we'll see. It's fine, we'll just see what happens with those. I am happy about the sweet potatoes. You can see they're doing really good. You can't even really see the bags too much, but I want to say 3 25-gallon bags, and I put sweet potato slips in each one, and they're growing really, really well. All right, friends, let's go ahead and see what we harvested today before I completely lose light out here. So the first thing we got is some oregano. So I'm really happy. I feel like last year it grew well, but this year it just seems to really be taking off. It's probably because it just needed some time to establish itself, but I'm really pleased with how they're growing in the grow bags along my retaining wall in the metal beds. So I was able to harvest a bunch of oregano, and it doesn't seem like a whole lot this time because I'm waiting for those tomatoes to turn red if it would just rain for me. But I feel like I'm starting to lose focus here, but we got a lot of cucumbers. I've actually been consistent in getting cucumbers. I'm really, really happy with the cucumbers. And we got 2 banana peppers, and then of course, you guys, some lemon balm. This stuff is growing all over the place, and the Tulsi holy basil is just everywhere. So I'm never without this, which is really nice. But overall, very happy, especially with the cucumbers. I'm very happy with the harvest. So friends, thanks so much for stopping by, and I really look forward to seeing you guys next week. And always remember, friends, be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. And I greatly, there's a bug on my chin. These things just, they don't want to leave me alone. Ugh. Why do these bugs gotta go all up in my face? It's like, why? Just, they got the woods back there. I don't understand. They're just, ugh.